Folks! My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. You know, as a kid, I used to build castles out of cardboard. Now I'm just an older kid. Can I still build castles out of cardboard? Dang. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Well, as we are at the end of August of 2025, I didn't know you guys were joining me today. You may be asking yourself, why do I watch this channel? And my response to you is, I don't have a clue. I mean, I guess you're just here to thumbs down, cry, anger, jealousy, obsession, frustration. I'm not sure what it is. So, we're about a month away from all hell breaking loose in this card world. You know? It's hot here in Florida. I don't know how many waffle fries I can eat, but in this heat, I don't think it's possible for me to really look any different. So, I want to give you guys a couple pieces of wisdom here and my opinion of what's going on. So let's start with a couple things. I've told you all already. The Spider-Man collector thing. The obsession with the Avatar collector thing. I've told you all my advice. My advice is to focus on older, different collector boxes that have more opportunity, more margin, have less risk-reward ratio, just things that are more attractive based on risk. I'm telling you all right now, if Spider-Man comes out at collectors and it's, I don't know, $1,000 a box, it's $1,200 a box, whatever it is, maybe it tanks because it's terrible. I think spoiler season's starting this week, isn't it? Remember, folks, there are still a lot of collector boxes from the last 5 years that you can get. I don't know if you can get much anymore at $200. I know in the last year we was talking about the $200 collector boxes. I don't know if that's a thing anymore. The $300 to $400 collector box range. You want real financial advice from somebody. Don't buy from me. Go online, research all the different sets. There are a ton of really good collector boxes. And like I told you all before, buy 2 or 3 collector boxes of Tarkir. Buy Foundations collectors. You know, hell, buy what? 4 boxes of Aether Drift collectors. Buy Duskmourn collectors. Buy, what, 3 boxes of, or can you get 4 boxes of Outlaws Thunder Junction? Are Outlaws collectors still like $250? If Outlaws are still $250, get 4 of those boxes for $1,000. I'm telling you, the probability of a $200-$300 collector box moving to $500 to $600 to $700 over the coming years is incredibly likely unless we experience a substantial crash or downturn. The percentage movements will be greater than if you buy today at Spider-Man at $1,200. Even if Spider-Man Collectors goes to $1,500, goes to $2,000. I mean, sure, you can still make money, but I'm saying the risk tolerance, the risk profile is still a lot more attractive on many other things if you think for yourself, look in other directions, and put effort into previous products and actually just kind of do some research. It really is that kind of simple. Like, I'm not going to talk much about Pokemon in this video, but in this area, in this background, we have the SVO. We got an SVO4 palette, and I think the one way back there with some of those random Charlizards on top. That's an SVO1 base palette that's been sitting there for fucking 2 years, 3 years. That, you know, it's dog shit, right? But I'm like, you know, look at other things. You know, if you're into Sword and Shield era, look at, is Sword and Shield base or Rebel Clash or what was the Fat Pikachu set? Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles. Look at the cheap stuff. Look at stuff that's 4 years old. That's $250, $300, even $350 in Pokemon. Or you could just buy the newest Pokemon set, Destined Rivals, that just came out for the same $350. Or I could get a set from 4 years ago for the same price. Huh. Do you see my point? The same thing with Magic. I'm telling you all right now, in the world of Magic, there are so many different products on the move. Like the talk of the town in Magic, by far, is the collector box boom. Yes, I'm aware. I'm front and center in it because I was the pump and dump collector box guy in the last 5 years and ridiculed for it. And I'm telling you all, that bull market in collector boxes and in modern magic is not over. It is not a bubble. It is not some sort of short-term pump and dump scam. Essentially, the simplest answer is most likely the correct one. And that is two things. People are locking in profits in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're buying sealed products because Magic the Gathering in Pokemon has always had a very strong connection to the crypto world. Okay? All of that kind of stuff is flowing into Magic and Pokemon. And in Magic, everybody wants the collector boxes. That is the number one thing people care about. Like right now, a case of Final Fantasy collectors is what, $1,500 a box? So what, 6 boxes will be what? God, 9,000-10,000? Jeez. So a master case of 24 Final Fantasy collectors. What is that? Like, is that $40,000? So think about, okay, holy cow, is that right? Is the math right? So a master case of Final Fantasy collectors, okay, 24 of those, $40,000. You can buy a 1994 box of Magic the Gathering Legends, English. You can buy a $40,000, $50,000 box of antiquities for the same price as a brand new Final Fantasy master case. Like, that's what I'm telling you guys. I'm not saying the Final Fantasy is a bad collectible item. It's a bad investment. I'm telling you, I would rather buy a 30-year-old original, truly rare item than spend $40,000, $50,000 on a Final Fantasy collector box case. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, Rudy, if vintage doesn't come back, those Legends boxes and Antiquities boxes for 40 grand, they could be the same price for the next 10 years. And that's totally true. And then the other side of the coin, you and I both know, in 5 to 10 years from now, a Final Fantasy collector master case or anything is not going to be $1,500 a box times 24 boxes. They will probably be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a box. And that right there is why the money in the market is flowing to new stuff. It's just what it is, folks. I mean, I can't manipulate it to a point to convince anyone otherwise. I can't convince you guys to buy vintage. I'm just telling you the risk profile. And right now, all the attention is just funneled into Spider-Man, into Avatar. And I get it. It's going to be a huge hit. You know, the collector boxes are going to be incredibly high demand. They're going to sell out. It's like blah, blah, blah. I get it. Final Fantasy collector boxes, they're going to be over 2,000. I get it. The Lord of the Rings stuff, the Fallout, the Doctor Who, the Wilds of Eldraine, the Ixalan, blah, blah, blah. Like, all these things are going to keep climbing unless we have a macro level economic collapse or something that can ice the market down. And I'm sorry, I just don't see that happening on a large scale. Pockets of the country, pockets of the world, pockets of pretty much working people are going to be suffering as economies evolve and shift and things happen. But I don't think this is on a macro level enough to disrupt what we're seeing happening in collectibles. I'm aware of the whole Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, and $13 million PSA sports card thing that just, again, draws more attention to the collectible world. I'm aware of how he's telling people now that they should have exposure to collectibles as an asset class. I'm aware that he's now saying this stuff. Now, again, this is being published and aired on CNBC, on news websites that are, real stuff, not my channel. And yeah, all that does is put more pressure and throw in more money into the card world, okay? Now, my personal opinion, I think these are all short-term things, but I want to remind everybody, I have to say it in this video, okay? Please remember, over the last 5 years, 2 or 3 of the last 5 years were an absolute dreadful collapse of a market, which is why those pallets sit there with spider webs on them. Because, simply put, nobody wanted them and they were trash. Keep in mind, Magic the Gathering collector boxes were almost a meme the last few years. That's how bad they got. Like, the collector boxes were getting so bad that literally people were refusing to buy them. My own patrons were just like, hey, Rudy, I like the videos, I like what you're doing, but with all due respect, I'm not going to really buy collector boxes because, they're going to collapse after the product comes out, and why should I spend my money on it? Right? I might as well just wait. That was the going attitude and consensus on how to approach the market for years. and things changed really quickly. And as I always say, in this world, your strategy is always really good and it always works great and you always feel smarter than you are until it changes and suddenly you look like a dumbass. And that's, I remember if you look back at some of my old videos with Roaring Skies and Pokemon Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike and the reprint of Lost Origins and Silver Tempest, and I look back at all these things and it's funny that how the only thing that's changed is just the attitude of everybody. And we replace certain problems with new problems based on where the market is in the cycle. And, it's, I guess just life always has a way of transferring wealth to the patient. Money always leaves the impatient. And it always ends up in the hands of the patient people. In my entire 40 years on this planet, it's always been that way. Since I was a kid, high school, teenager, college, turning wrench days of oil changes and thinking I was hot stuff making my $7 an hour. I mean, it really is funny how on the surface, things really are that simple. You just outweight everybody else. And then enough time goes by, if there's a public record of what you're doing, like me, there's a public record of everything on this channel. There's almost 4,000 videos of all the ups and downs and what I'm doing, and I show you guys the receipts. It's really interesting how time has a way of making me look smarter than I am. I still get messages from you guys all the time. Rudy, what magic set should I buy? In Pokemon, Rudy, if you had to pick one Pokemon set, what would you buy right now? Bro, dude, if I knew that, I wouldn't try to be buying all this other stuff. I would only buy the one thing that's going to be the next Evolving Skies. I would only buy Magic product that's going to be the next Lord of the Rings or Final Fantasy. I wouldn't buy anything else. I wouldn't have all the Aether Drift over there, the Duskmourn over here, the Thunder Junction over there, the Karlov Manor over there. Like, if I knew exactly what was going to be the next 100x item, first of all, I wouldn't be making videos and talking to you guys. I wouldn't say anything to anybody if I knew the secret to money. And that's just, that's how it is. And I think just, I still have a lot of concerns about the direction of the culture and everything, but I'm on a big tangent right now. I'm sorry, everybody. Back to the point of this video, the very beginning of the video. The focus, there's truly an issue of focus right now. And it's because everybody who's jumping in this right now is an amateur. The amount of people in this market right now that are just straight Timmy amateurs and don't have a clue what they're doing is very concerning, because those are the type of people that this time next year, if prices stop going up, or they stay flat, or they're negative, you're going to see people just all kinds of selling and panic. That's what I really think is the greater risk of a lot of things right now. And I've been telling you guys for many months now since Final Fantasy, my Rudy advice to you is to focus not on the one item that everybody's piling into. Focus on the other things. Now, if you are very fortunate and you have access to a lot of capital, yes, buying Spider-Man collector boxes right now on TCG Player for, $970 plus tax. So buying Spider-Man collectors right now for $1,100 shipped is probably still going to make you money if you keep it sealed and you wait 12 to 24 months. I mean, I don't even say 3 to 5 years anymore because it's just goofy. I mean, the odds are in your favor. You probably have a 70-80% chance of doing really well and a 10-20% chance of some sort of economic pullback. I mean, those are really good odds for if you're throwing money and you're trying to make money and hustle in this world. I get it. But at the same time, there are so many products and items, and the market doesn't look at most of these items. The market is so fixated on one thing at a time. There's just so much space to find other things. There's so much opportunity to look in other directions, everyone. So, as I kind of wrap up this video, this is what's coming up, okay? Whether you're a patron or you're not, you just want to hear what I have to say, that's fine. This is what's coming up. We're about to hit September, okay? Which means, hopefully, in the next 30 days, we're also supposed to get Tarkir Dragonstorm Playbox restock for the first time since Tarkir released. I requested thousands. Now, as long as I can get thousands of these things, I'm going to put it back to the patrons. $100 shipped, buy whatever the hell you want. Now, if I can't get that, I'll have to do some stupid limit one per patron and just leave it for all month long. You guys can buy whatever you want. Take your time. It's going to be up to Wizards and how much they're printing. I'm hoping it's a lot so that we can put an end to this unavailable product for normal play boxes, which is still something I am against. I know that goes against Rudy's philosophy and game piece army attitude, but I am strongly against not having play boxes available for the entire market. I do not believe that is the correct thing to do. So, we're supposed to have that coming up in September. Fingers crossed it comes true. I hope so. Moving into September, we have the massive new Flesh and Blood. You guys know what it is, the Super Slam, kind of the combat, melee combat type set. Some people are calling it another sequel type set to like a heavy hitters type of just kind of hand-to-hand versus a lot of the, Wizards and, kind of arcane stuff. But we'll see how the market likes that. Flesh and Blood's been on a tear. That is coming at the end of September. There is a lot of chatter on that as with every release now. Keep in mind, we are having the brand new Pokemon era. So we are entering the ME1 era, the Mega Evolutions. And yes, it is a complete shit show. I have not talked much about it. You guys keep asking me to make videos on the new Mega Evolutions. Yes, I'm aware they're $300 a box. I will tell you all right now, as of right now, I'm not even sure I'm going to run a Pokemon sale on release day like I always do, or if I may hold the sale for 2 weeks or 3 weeks for the second wave of Pokemon to show up to combine both waves to offer a larger quantity to patrons. That's kind of the idea right now, because simply put, there's just, like if I'm supposed to get, let's say 1,000 boxes of Mega Evolutions, I'm probably going to get 300-400 on wave 1 and maybe 500-600 on wave 2. And if that's the case, it's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to try to sell this for how many of you guys work with me and how many patrons there are, and to kind of have a nice, enjoyable process that's smooth. So I'm trying to figure that out right now. Obviously, we also have the infamous Spider-Man with Magic the Gathering. Everybody already knows this. On top of the Spider-Man with Magic the Gathering, we have One Piece. We have OP12. That's my tiny-ass little OP12 stack, because the rest of my OP12 is still a few weeks away, which is why I haven't sold any of it, and it's just kind of sitting here, I guess. That's just kind of a pain. These split wave shipments are a very frustrating thing. So, with that being said, I'm going to try to offer Spider-Man collectors on release. Limit 1 per patron. They're going to be expensive. My advice is you don't buy it and you skip it and you focus on other things like I've said. I'm going to have Spider-Man play boxes. I would assume they're going to be around the same price I sold the Final Fantasy play boxes. I don't think I can even do a case this time. I think I have to do half a case. So I'm dealing with that. And then going into the end of September, October, we got a lot of fun special things for you guys coming up. We're going to reveal the all-new Sue Ellen Brown custom artwork for the 1994 Magic the Gathering Legends. I'm going to show you guys what that art that she's working on is going to look really neat. I'm going to kind of show you guys what that looks like. Going to be really cool. And then, of course, I have the treasure map for the Gem Keeper Flesh and Blood is officially done and is supposed to be here in a few weeks to reveal the exchange rate system, all the cool stuff we're working on for the crafting system for people trying to solve the Gem Keeper puzzle for Flesh and Blood and get the grand prize. And of course, I'll reveal, if you don't want to play my game and all the time and money and work into it, there will be a pay-to-win option if you just want to buy all the puzzle pieces and buy the prize. And I hope some people actually do it, because I'd like to break even at least on the project. Past that, October and November, okay? When we go to this end of the year, we have some big Weiss stuff. Obviously, people are already talking about, since we're past the old Nikki girls, Nikkei. We also have the Furin set coming back, and that's going to be a really big deal. We also have the big old boob girls coming with Azure Lane 2, which is people are losing their mind. And of course, Sorcery has the Monster Gothic set coming. And other than that, folks, I'm hoping to start the box opening videos back up and send some sign-up sheets to patrons over the next week or so, because I haven't done box openings on this channel for a couple months, and I really do miss it. And I'd like to do some box openings on like Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings. I'd really like to, the Pokemon, some old stuff and new. I'd really like to kind of experience and kind of do that with you guys. I think it'd be a lot of fun, Past that, like I said, my word of advice for everybody right now is you got to pick and choose your battles. Everything is extremely expensive. It's not changing anytime soon. The demand is going to stay very high. Pokemon, Magic, all these things, including even Flesh and Blood, even with these new Weiss sets, across the board, stuff is going to remain expensive. Prices are going to remain elevated, and shit's going to be selling out. And a lot of people are going to have a lot of emotions. I expect us to continue to see the internet and social media to lean into the direction of they don't print enough. I'm quitting Magic. I'm not buying Pokemon until the Scalper Scanner 5000 breaks down. I'm not going to buy anything until prices pull back. As long as we continue to see that narrative online, I will stand by what I told you guys a month ago, 3 months ago, in the beginning of this year. As long as that narrative continues, the bull market will rage on. You cannot have a market crash when everybody's reason for not buying is they're waiting for the dip. In any form of downturn, everybody buys. You will not have it. You can't have that. It doesn't work that way. Bear markets and crashes happen when everyone believes there's no bottom, there's no floor, and everything can just keep dropping. And you're better off selling now and buying back in later. I do not see that occurring as long as the internet continues to push the narrative of scalpers, expensive, I'm not buying anything in this market. Until we see that die down, the show goes on, everybody. And I don't think people want to hear that, because it looks like the runway right now, I don't see it changing for the rest of this year, and it's too soon to talk about 2026. But so far, from now to the rest of the year, with the Flesh and Blood, the Weiss, the Sorcery Gothic, the Spider-Man, the Avatar, and of course these Pokemon stuff, there's just too much good stuff coming. Everybody's fighting for it. Everybody's willing to pay anything they can for it. Everybody's very stretched on supply. I've never received this low amount of Pokemon and Magic, and if I'm feeling it, everyone's feeling it. And again, the wheel in the sky keeps turning. As always, final statement to you all: if you're serious about this market long term, this is what I would recommend. This is my financial advice for those of you at the end of this video. If you're a Rudy patron, I would go online right now and buy from other stores across the country, or go to your local stores around the United States, and I would look for and buy previous collector boxes, either at market price or even 10% off market. That's my first piece of advice. Piece of advice number 2, if you're a Rudy patron, I would recommend buying into, even when I offer Pokemon sales, even if it's only 10% off market, any little bit, because it gives you a nice buffer on price volatility. And if you're in the Magic the Gathering and you're a Rudy patron, I recommend highly. I would be buying sets like Outlaws of Thunder Junction, or like Duskmorn, or even the cheap Aether Drift stuff. I still think that is going to be your goal. And like I said, if you're not aware, because you're not a patron, you think I'm evil, I still love you even if you hate me. But I would recommend, because as you guys know, because a lot of products aren't available, I'm offering patrons older products. You can get Ixalan, March of the Machine, Brothers War. I'm offering older products at the same $118 ship price that you can get Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Duskmorn. But those are the cases, those are the items I'd be buying. I'd be buying a case of Aether for $5.99, not $100 a box to your door. I'd be looking at Carlo of Manor for $118 shipped to your door. I'd be looking at Outlaws and Duskmorn for $118 shipped. These are the products that I'd be looking at right now, because the supply of these things are not going to last forever. A lot of these things, how old is, Duskmorn, really? Duskmorn is June of 2024? Outlaw, wow. So again, I'd highly recommend, if you're looking and serious about long-term in Magic, collector boxes from anyone in the country, play boxes and cheap stuff as the Rudy patron thing, that would be my approach to this. And I would be very patient, and I would just kind of wait and see how things go, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity still. And again, don't focus on the one thing that everybody's trying to pile into. Seriously. That's my advice. Hope you all have a beautiful day out there. It is the end of the month. Buckle up, Buttercup, because September is going to be a fucking wild ride. Have a great day. Oh, penis.